Welcome to the Christmas Ornament podcast, the official broadcast of Christmas Aficionado. Since the late 1990s, Hallmark has aired nearly 500 plus Christmas movies. While individual preferences may vary, I decided to tackle what I believe are the top 100 Christmas movies of all time. But before I release my official rankings, which are coming out sometime next year, and you bet we're going to need to talk about 2026 because I'm sure there's going to be some good ones there. I've been doing a series of live broadcasts with my fellow Hallmark podcasters and YouTube friends and asking them to suggest what they believe should be on the Hallmark 100. And that's what we're going to talk about today with my guests. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Hi, Merry Christmas.
Great.
So, up first, making his debut on Christmas Aficionado and joining less than 20 seconds ago is Brian from Deck the Hallmark. Brian, you took over the Likes Hallmark Movies chair a few years ago, and while I disagree with some of your opinions quite often, actually, you're a great guy. I met you at Christmas Con. Welcome to Christmas Aficionado for the live broadcast. I got a question for you.
Yep.
You often love movies. I can't even read my own rating. What is the one Hallmark movie that should never be on the top 100 Christmas movies of all time?
Never be?
Never be.
Oh, man. That is, it's so funny. I had a bunch. I was like, for this list, we're supposed to pick kind of like a guilty pleasure. And my list turned from guilty pleasure to ones that I thought were just real bad. And so I came up with a number of them that I thought, this is so bad. I wish I had an opportunity to talk about this. Should never be on the list. This is so hard because oh man.
Do you want me to come back to you?
I'm going to go with, how about the, No, I'm gonna say okay. It should be the second Three Wiser Men.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Out of all the movies that have ever been made, the second Wiser Men.
Yeah, let's leave some space. Is what I'm saying. The first one, obviously, yeah. Let's put it on the list. And the second, we know. One covers it. Let's leave some space for others because there's a lot. There's a lot that should be on the list, a lot to cover. And so I just feel like sequels, that's kind of my overarching theme. Sequels, let's tone it down a little bit on including them on the list, unless they are the top one of the run there. But yeah, that's my hot take, and I'm sure
you just lost your job.
So I'm unemployed again. So Joe, you hiring?
All right. So that's an interesting take, I have to say. Next, also making his debut is co-host of the YouTube channel Do You Watch What I Watch, giving you recaps of his and co-host Jennifer's opinions and laughing their way through the highs, lows, and just plain awful moments from TV movies and Christmas movies. It's Josh. Josh, welcome to the broadcast. And I got a question for you. What is the one Hallmark movie? What is the one Hallmark movie that Jennifer loved, your co-host, that you can't believe she likes?
Gosh, you are really good at a tough question out of the gate. And I wish I would have had a moment to think about this, because of course now you're going to get me sideways with my co-host, which I just love. I love
that's
that.
Well, that's the point of the question.
Three Wiser Men is already taken, Josh.
Exactly. So I can't go that route. So, she is really into, what is that one that has Katrina Law and Snow Bride? She's very into Snow Bride. So that would probably be my pick, because it is a good one, but it is so full of trope and just so unbelievable. So, yeah, I would have to pick Snow Bride.
She actually, I think, recommended it last time, and I actually think it did make the list that I have to consider. And I also did cover it on the trope count on one of my videos, so feel free to check that out if everybody's watching, because gotta promote. because I got to hire Brian, apparently. So,
Yeah, right.
I need money. So next
He's
is
a free
Kristen.
agent.
Yep. Next is Kristen from Holidays After Dark, the podcast that takes you on a journey to the lesser known sides of the holiday, explores the origin stories, history that might try to forget, and introduces you to the celebrations you may not be familiar with. Kristen, what is the one Hallmark movie that everybody loves that you secretly hate?
Oh, that everyone loves. I was gearing one up, but I'm not sure how people tend to feel about it. Although I think people people generally liked the show. But let's see. I was gonna say Happy Holidays with the guy from that one Finding Mr. Christmas or whatever it was called, because that was absolutely unwatchable. But one that everyone really loves, I would probably say, ooh. That's a really good one. Probably can I like generalize it and say any of the old school ones with like Candace Cameron Bure?
That's
Because
fair. Yeah.
I just never understood like really the mass appeal, and I know she's been exiled from Hallmark World now, but it was just not. I just never really saw one of her Hallmark movies where I was like, okay, this is it. Like this is what it's about. So it was a happy exit for me, not to be too harsh, but yeah, Candace Cameron Bure, I don't miss her on the network.
I think that's fair. So Josh, I am now breaking up your podcast, apparently.
Yes, I have been fired as well. So
so, I mean, this is these are the points of these questions, I'm sure. So, but I have one more guest to introduce and then one more question to ask. So, and returning movie critic Rachel from the blog, podcast, and YouTube channel Rachel's Reviews, and one of the founders of the Hallmarkies podcast. Rachel, welcome back. The last time you were on, you helped pick the female Mount Rushmore of Hallmark ladies. Do you remember? Do you remember the 4 ladies that were chosen?
I don't. That was a while ago. I think it probably
It was a
Lacey.
year ago. Yeah, Lacey was one. Yeah.
Lacey. Do we have Rachel Boston?
Nope. No.
No. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
So it was Lacey Chabert, Kimberly Sustad, Nikki DeLoach, and Bethany Joy Lenz. So
Oh, good choices. We did a good job.
yeah, we did good. We had good choices. I was just kind of curious. And you know what? I had to look it up too. So don't worry about it.
I tell you, my movie that I wish could be banned and that I can't stand that the Hallmarkies love is the Finding Father Christmas movies. And the fact that there were 3 of them took me to a dark place. Like,
Yes.
I hated those movies so much. So, yeah, that would be my pick.
So we got a few comments here I didn't get to. Summer Nettleman says the Christmas card. I think that was in response of what movie probably
Classic.
either shouldn't. I don't know what she was responding to. Maybe it was when Brian was talking because it's in about the same time. Lee says Brian's about to sink the ship in the first 2 minutes.
New record.
3 wise men to Judgment Day. Speaking
yes,
of,
now we're getting a 3rd one of those. So Brian,
yes, we did. It was
Yeah.
announced.
right?
Yeah. So Brian, let's take that hot take. So the second one should never be considered. So the third one, how would you address that if it was really good?
If it's better than the first one, then we kick the first one off. We stick the third. The third covers all the bases.
Okay.
It's,
You can only
it's
have
possible
one.
too, because then we're left with one. Everybody gets it's the whole series is kind of there. So there's a chance. It's a chance that could happen.
So speaking of sequels, Brian, what do you think of Cozy Christmas Inn? I think we're going to hear about that later, so we'll just probably skip that for now. Christmas Cousin Pod is on. Hey, everybody. So Chad, everybody's on. So great. All right. So we got a lot of people there all talking, and I'm going to have a hard time keeping up to everything. Oh, wait, here. Joe, your hair looks amazing tonight. Thank you. It's doing pretty good. All righty. So we've got a lot of movies to go over tonight, and we're going to go through them. But before we start talking about the new movies that all of my guests suggested, we have to look at the movies that are going to be on the list. So these are ones that these guests could not choose from, but are going to be on the Hallmark 100. So we have The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. We have The Santa Summit. We have A Dickens of a Holiday. We have Christmas in Evergreen. Snow Bride from Jennifer. A Very Merry Mix-Up. Rescuing Christmas. A Christmas House. And somehow the Very, Very Scottish Christmas got on. So I'm having a hard time. This is the one I'm trying to have a hard time with. I don't hate the movie, but I don't know if it's in the top 100. But I'll have to figure that out. So tonight, everybody gave me 5 movie suggestions, and I asked their 5th option to be a very guilty pleasure, and that will be movies that are probably really bad, but we all love, and everyone had some. But there we go. How to Holly was on there too. I got my screens mixed up. But here's round 3. So before we get started, hot take. One of the guests on this broadcast chose Happy Holidays.
Suddenly regretting what I said.
So
I'm starting a war.
Yes. So someone on this broadcast gave me this movie. I was shocked, but that's fine. Well, that's everybody has their opinions. So we'll be talking about that tonight, and we'll see who's the person who did that. Everybody's
that's
now
for the regular ones or for the guilty pleasure.
I'm not saying. I'm just going to. I'm just gonna let it go. So because we gotta see who did it. So
can I say something really quick about the guilty pleasure thing? I actually think that Hallmark, usually if their movies are bad, they're just kind of boring. They don't really do like so bad it's good that much. And so it was actually kind of hard for me to think of something that was like a true guilty pleasure. And I think maybe people might be surprised by that because that's just really not how they lean. I think because they usually don't do that much of like comedy. So if they're bad, they're usually just kind of boring.
Yeah. Well,
agreed.
Someone who suggested this, Mark says it's got dogs, so it's automatically in the top 100. I'm going to disagree with that, Mark. I just don't think that's true. But anyways, let's get started here. Let me pull up my list so I have the movies here. First one is from Kristen, and the movie is Christmas at the Golden Dragon. So, Kristen, why is this one should be considered?
So I loved this movie from the second that I started watching it, and the season that it aired, which I believe was 2022, I ended up watching it multiple times that Christmas season, which is a rarity for me because when there are so many new ones to keep up with, I usually only have time to watch something once. And then I might get to it again later in the year. But literally, I saw this movie and then it like made me want Chinese food so bad that the next time I watched it, I ordered Chinese takeout and watched it. But the reasons I love it, I mean, I honestly can't. My list is incredibly long. I love the multi-storyline angle. Anytime a movie has that, I'm on board. I love the unique cultural elements that are sometimes missing from a lot of Hallmark movies. I love the family story with like the fish out of water with the daughter going to her boyfriend's family's house and kind of like forcing them to do all these like stereotypical traditions that she realizes that like people don't really actually do, like Christmas caroling anymore and stuff. So it's charming, it's heartwarming. The storyline, multiple storylines, keeps it on its toes, but I also don't feel like it's too much for one movie. I feel like they actually managed to kind of wrap everything up nicely in the very short hour and 20 minutes or whatever we have for Hallmark movies. So it's one that I feel like they don't re-show it a lot, but now that I subscribe to Hallmark Plus and all that, it's one that I keep going back to time and time again.
Okay. So what does everyone think of Christmas at the Golden Dragon?
I think it's a good choice. I think maybe it's a little overstuffed for what it can tackle in the time that it has. I think I would have preferred it with maybe without the Barbara Niven plot, or I don't know. It's just a little overstuffed, but I think it's a good choice. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I did too. I thought it was heartwarming, and I, like you, Kristen, I really love the multi-plot line that develops throughout the whole thing. So, good pick.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was. You don't see a lot of movies. Like, I grew up in the Northeast, and Chinese food on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve was great. Like, you would go to the restaurants because they're the only ones open, and it was cool to see that story on screen. It was like, oh yeah, like that's something that's a regular part of our holidays, and it's just not something you normally see as a story in a Christmas movie. And so I was a big fan of that. I thought that was really cool. So a good pick.
Yeah. So I think they have Hallmark does really bad compilation movies where there's tons of storylines and stuff. This one, and there's one other one that's on the list later on that I think do a really good job. And this one kept my interest. I was intrigued by it. So yeah, I think it's a worthy suggestion. A lot of other people do too, and a lot of people just jumped in. So Lonzo just dropped in to contribute a Kick Rocks Brian. So man, Brian, you're just taking it tonight.
Wouldn't be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday if I wasn't being kicked while I was down.
Yeah. Solid pick, Kristen, from Jennifer. And let's see if there's any others. It's a solid movie. Definitely rewatch it when it comes on. So, yeah, I think overall, I think people like this one. Will it be considered for the Hallmark 100 at the end? We'll have to see. But the next movie is from Brian. Round and Round.
That's right. I couldn't believe this wasn't picked yet. I couldn't believe this was available. I saw that this hadn't been picked yet, and I immediately put the rest of my list together so I could get it to Joe before everybody else, so nobody else could get this, because this movie, without being too hyperbolic or seeming irrational, the best movie Hallmark has ever made. I mean, no question. There's a nostalgia factor with some of the older ones that people argue, like tug on their heartstrings, that they will always be the top of their list. But they just put together such a great movie. Vic Michaelis, Brian Greenberg, not your typical leads in a Hallmark movie. They're not from the stable of people we see regularly. They crushed it. Their chemistry was really, really great. Rick Hoffman, probably the greatest dad of all time in this movie. He was phenomenal. Him just laying across the bed, talking to his daughter, having a heart-to-heart was like how it should be done everywhere for all of time. It was great. And just really funny, like lots of nerdy humor, like lots of nerd jokes. And so it all kind of just like came together and worked. And it was like a Groundhog Day story that was just done really well. So Round and Round, one of my, probably top 1, 2, 3, I could battle back and forth of favorites of all time, and feel like there just has to be a spot on this list for this movie.
Yeah. So what everyone think?
Yeah. Do you have, I didn't know that the Hanukkah movies were included in the list, but yeah, it's really funny and very entertaining. Doesn't, even though it's repeating, it's a time loop story, it doesn't feel repetitive. It's great. Yeah, great choice.
Yeah, anything that airs during Countdown to Christmas, I count it. So or anytime at any of the Christmas channels. So yeah, so all the Hallmark Hanukkah movies can be included. Round and Round, it's really great. I think I made it my number one Christmas movie of whatever 2023 was that when this one came out. Yeah, so it's a solid choice. So anybody else?
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, going into this one, I had like low expectations because of what Brian said, not knowing necessarily the leads. And sometimes that can be a bit of a kiss of death in a Hallmark movie going into it, unfortunately. But then it was incredible, and it kept my attention and surpassed my expectations. And I feel like in general, they've done the Hanukkah movies well. And this is definitely probably the best one.
Yeah. Cool. So we have some comments. First comment is not about the movie, but Joe will definitely read any comment complimenting his hair. sure. I still have it, so I guess I'm going to embrace it. Let's see. Round and Round was great. Round and Round was amazing. Is that Billy Eichner? No.
No.
It's the best. It's the best time traveling movie we've done so far. Lee hasn't seen this. Lee, you have to go see it. Yeah.
Good one.
Joe made me pick Deeper Cuts when I came on, but it's my number one too. Yeah, I stopped trying to enforce that because everybody was complaining. But in the beginning, I said, let's try to choose movies that aren't normally chosen, like so that we can get. But we're gonna have to get Round and Round out of the way. We're gonna have to get Biltmore eventually out of the way. We're gonna have to get Three Wise Men out of the way, except for the sequel because Brian's not gonna let me. Yeah, so. But we do have some deeper cuts, and I have had the opportunity to introduce movies that I think should be on the list where people tell me I'm crazy. I'm going to be bringing some of these movies over and over again because there are some movies that I think really need to be on the list. And of course, in the end, I'm probably just going to put them on because it's my list and, I get to make that final decision. But I'd like to get some credit from people to say, yeah, that's a good choice, Joe. So my choice, returning again, is The Christmas Ornament. The Christmas Ornament from 2013, starring Kelly Martin, Cameron Matheson. It's one of the best Hallmark Christmas movies of all time. It is a fun movie where Emily's husband died. She runs this bike shop that she doesn't want to run anymore, but she then meets Tim, who for some reason can make a ton of money over the years just selling trees at Tim's tree farm. And they get together, and she's reluctant to be with him until the very end when she gets a special magic note from her dead husband that she should move on. And that note is included with a Christmas ornament, hence the movie title. Great chemistry between these two. I think this is one of the best Hallmark movies ever made. What do you guys think?
Very sweet. Yeah, I feel like I'm being super easy to please tonight, but I think it's just if you want to watch a more emotional one, tug at the heartstrings, this one's sweet.
I think it's a good entryway movie. Like, it's one that's very approachable, easy breezy, good heartfelt storyline. I liked it.
Yeah. I think this is the kind of thing that when people think of Hallmark Christmas movies, they don't think of Round and Round. They think of something like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I agree. It originally aired before I got into Hallmark movies, but I think I saw it once, like in reruns. And I'm a big Cameron Matheson fan. I hate that he has pretty much left the network entirely to go to the dark side. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this was actually on probably my number one for the longest time. It's not number one anymore. I've got other choices, but it's still, I think it's in my top 10. I think it's just really well done. I think their chemistry together is off the chart compared to other Hallmark movies in that time period. Like 2013 was a new year. It was a year where the movies really started getting good. This one was the standout for that year, but yeah. So anyways, we got some comments, and let's see. I know. And yes, so when I announced it, Alonzo said, Lordy. So stop trying to make the Christmas ornament happen. It's going to be on the list regardless if someone chooses it or not. It's going to be on the list. I'm sorry. He's been pushing this movie every week. It's not happening. Can't wait to hear Rachel's take on this one. So I think he was expecting you to bash it, but he didn't. Jennifer, you got it before I did. See, no, I love this movie. See, there. I always tell everyone to watch it. Yes, because it's one of the best. Mark says I'm with you. Christmas Ornaments is better than this turkey. Magical Christmas. Oh no, Alonzo, you're wrong on that one. Okay, so here's Chad's take.
Magical Christmas Ornaments does have like the evil podcaster.
Yeah,
which made me laugh.
It does. Yeah,
Very
Christmas.
suspect.
Chad's take: Kelly Martin was great in Christmas in Montana. Underrated classic. Most people dislike it. Yeah, because it's boring.
Yeah, it's boring.
I tear up every time I watch it. So, yes, we've got some people that are agreeing with me. So maybe by the end, someone will say yes, the Christmas Ornament should be on the top list. So, all right. So next is Josh's first choice, Sugar Plumed.
So I loved this movie through and through from 2024. I just think Janelle Parrish is really great in everything that I've seen her in. I find her to be really believable. And I like this whole storyline about confronting the need to have a perfect Christmas. You know, she is this sort of perfect, magical symbol of Christmas, and then everything goes haywire. I thought the script was really funny. I thought that the relationship between these two leads was kind of not the typical relationship that we see. You know, she's a married mom with kids and the whole 9 yards. And I think that really resonates with a lot of people at the holiday season. And I just think at the end of the day, there's really good message here about the futility of trying to chase perfection at the holiday season and just letting things be what they're going to be. So that's why I picked this one, because I like the message. I think it has just the right amount of magic, not too much magic. And I thought at the end of the day, it was a really fun watch, which for me kind of gave me everything that I'm looking for in a Hallmark movie. So that's why I nominated this one.
Yep. It was my number one choice on my ranking this year for 2024. It was the best. It was the best one from this past Christmas. So, no choice. No.
It was also my number one choice. So I don't know if I would pick it out of the ones just because it's not really a romance, but I still really enjoyed it.
I forget. I had this high as well from last year. I forget exactly how high, but this one was really great. And it's probably also my favorite Carlo Marx movie. If you don't remember, his one scene, I think he just serves a summons and then he's out. And he was great. I've always said I need to see Carlo Marx in like a villain role. And that was, I think, as close as we're probably going to get. And he nailed it. So I think we need more of that. But yeah, Janelle Parrish just was so good and fun, and I remember this standing out as well.
Yeah, it was in my top 5 for 2024 as well. Super fun. I think going into it, I was worried I was going to be like kind of annoyed by the plot or something. Maybe if the Sugar Plum, character got kind of carried away. But yeah, it was absolutely one of the standouts of the year. So very solid pick.
Yep. Yeah, I think we all agree. I think the thing that I really liked about the movie, and it's kind of like Round and Round, the same thing, they came out of nowhere. Like all these movies that were on, can't wait to see what happens with these movies. This was a movie that when I remember reading the synopsis, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. Same with Round and Round. And then they came out late in the season, and it just blew me away because it was so much better than I think probably 90% of the other movies. The other ones just didn't compare, and so I really liked that they can still bring out things that don't have to have the big stars that we normally expect to have a good movie, and make it real special. So, all right.
And I think that's really well said, because it's kind of a shame. This is one of those that they did not really publicize that much. This didn't get a whole lot of publicity, right? And I think a lot of people probably missed this one because it was late in the season. And I think that's just a shame. It makes me sad that they do that sometimes with these really good ones.
Well, look, Jennifer agrees with you. It was underpromoted, amazing. So, yeah. And then here, this is for recording Christmas Ornament. But I was getting logged in and just went to say that I love the Christmas Ornament as well. So lots of love for the Christmas Ornament this week. Not so much last time I introduced it, but that's okay. So, Rachel, your first pick, Trading Christmas.
Right. Yes, Trading Christmas. This has long been my favorite Hallmark movie. It has 2 solid romances at the core of it. You've got Faith Ford and Tom Cavanaugh who switch houses, and they both have romances in their new places for the holidays. And Gil Bells and Gabrielle Miller, they're the love interest, and I like both romances so much. I think they're so well done. And you also have a pretty nice arc with Faith Ford's character, with her daughter, and her kind of coming to a realization about her grieving over the loss of her husband several years before, and the daughter's father, obviously. And that's well done. It's really sexy for a Hallmark movie. There's a lot of kissing. There's a lot of which gives it points in my turn. I just think this is really charming. I think it's practically feature worthy. Very well done.
It's one of those movies where I forget that it's a Hallmark movie from time to time because, well, one, the stars were these were a lot bigger stars. This came out in 2011, and 10. It had people who have actually been on sitcoms and recently, not from the 90s, or the 80s. So yeah, I mean, I really do like it. I often forget about it. But I think it's a very solid choice.
Yeah, anything with Tom Cavanaugh for me is I love Tom Cavanaugh. Ever since Love Monkey. What's that?
He's so good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's great to see. But yeah, I haven't seen it like you, Joe. I feel like this one has been had a rotation for quite a while.
Anybody else?
I actually don't think I've seen it, so I'm going to add it to the list, though.
Yeah.
So I also love this movie, but I like the holiday more and just end up watching it when I want to watch a house swap movies. But boy, do I love Tommy C. So yeah, okay, great. Well, those are our first 5 movies each. We have more to go. Let's see if we can get through them in the next hour or so. keep it tight. So Kristen, your second choice, 5-Year Christmas Party.
Yeah, this one, I rewatched it this weekend to refresh myself on all my top 5, and I was reminded again of how much I absolutely love Katie Finlay, and I think that she just needs to be in multiple Christmas movies every single holiday season. I absolutely love her wittiness. I think she brings a really unique style of acting to the Hallmark world that we don't see. She's so quick, she's so awkward in a lovable way. Although the 5-year plot line is a little bit frustrating with for the love of God, someone just replied to a text message and none of this would have happened. For 2 young people who are on their phones all the time, yet they're incapable of texting each other back for most of the year. It was a little frustrating, but I just think it's such a unique concept. And going into it, I was like, wait, a 5-year Christmas party? What is this going to be? And it was just fun. I was rooting for them the whole time. And like I said, Katie Finlay is just an absolute gem.
Yeah, agree with that 100%. This I remember liking this one, and Zach Hugg wrote it, and he's a hilarious writer. So that's good to have him considered here on this list. I think this has a place on the list.
He really captured the experience of being a creative, I think, so well. The fact when he thinks it's going to be his big break, and then he's back working the party the next year, and all the things that people expect you to do for free. It's which things are worth doing for free, which things aren't. Just a lot of those things that people that are trying to be in the arts will definitely relate to.
Yeah.
And I'll echo what you said about Katie. I think that she's one of these atypical Hallmark leads that I think really just comes off the screen. She was also in a really great one, Sealed with a List, that I think was another one of those where she just really shined. I think this is a good pick too.
Yeah, they definitely add a lot to the network. Glad they're.
Yeah, no, I this was one of my top picks from last year, and I liked that it took place over 5 years. It's more realistic for a romance, or getting together with somebody. Typically Hallmark is a few days and then you're ready to get married, but this time they're friends. They kind of get together, but things keep them apart. So maybe it's a little too real for people. I don't know. But it's definitely a good choice. And I was glad to see that someone suggested it. So, all right, Brian, your second choice.
That's right. My next pick, A Carol for Two. This is another recent one. I feel like actually this pairs really well with 5 Year Christmas Party. They kind of have like a similar vibe a little bit. I really like this one when we watched it. It was sort of a musical a little bit and potentially has one of the greatest Christmas songs ever written and in this movie. And still kind of annoyed that I can't listen to it unless I just start singing it around my buddies and we all start screaming, "Who knew?" But like that song should be out there. Like that is a legitimately fun song to sing. Who knew?
It's on Spotify, Brian.
It is?
It is. My 8-year-old loves this song, and we listen to it all the time.
Holy cow. This is so embarrassing, but also we're going to have to pause this recording. No, I'm just kidding. So that's great news. This is going to be a great Christmas season, everybody. Jordan Litz, like on the Deck the Hallmark review, I said, inject Jordan Litz into my veins. And I stand by that. Like he is so fun. And I still follow him on Instagram and love seeing stuff pop up. I think he just had a baby. Like this, he's doing great. Nina Weinman wrote this thing, very funny, quick dialogue, lots of fun. And so I think that this one belongs on the list. Ton of fun. And I would watch this one. I mean, I'd make this a regular watch every season. Who knew?
It was fine. I don't know if I necessarily. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna put it down a little bit. It was okay. There was a lot of weird issues I had with it. It had a lot of tropes that the tiring tropes of not telling the parent, and then the parent shows up and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I lost my job, but now I'm doing this, and can't tell your dad that you're so close to, I don't know, it makes me angry when I watch that, because it's like your dad would support you. I don't know why you're scared to tell him, but I don't know, maybe I don't like singing, so in my movies. So I don't know if I would include this in my top 100, but someone obviously could vote it in and force me to do it. So, that's one way to do it. Anybody else?
Well,
yeah, I kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't remember all that about the parents, but the cousin was a little annoying. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I have been begging for a Hallmark musical, so I think this is about as close as we're going to get. And the leads are really charming. It's great. Yeah.
I kind of agree with you, Joe. I remember listening to the Deck the Hallmark episode about this one, and I was like, questioning myself. I'm like, wait, do I need to rewatch this? Because I was just not really on board, and I think everyone at DTH, including Brian, obviously ranked it pretty high. But I was just kind of bored. But then I questioned myself, and I'm like, maybe I was just not in the mood for what it was or something. But yeah, I unfortunately had it pretty low on my list for 2024.
I think it was in the 20s for me, but that's out of 50. And so that's actually probably pretty good. It was better than I thought it was going to be, because I really wasn't looking forward to it when I watched it. And I came away thinking there were some good things to it. So, it's definitely nowhere near the worst thing that Hallmark's ever put out. And I think it is at least, it's worth discussing. So,
but I had the same thing here, Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like we're saying the same thing.
So, all right. I have one more movie that I'm reintroducing that I have introduced before, because I still think this is a classic Christmas movie that should be included on the Hallmark 100. And I'm probably going to get, ripped apart on this one. But a few years ago, My Christmas Family Tree came out. I really love this movie. I really love Amy Teagarden. I think she's one of my favorite actresses when she does these movies. It's an Andrew Walker movie. I think he pairs well with her. The age gap does seem a little bit more than it should be, but I'm gonna let it go. But this was it. I had fun with this one. I wish the ending could have been a little bit different. I wish the ending was, because there was a whole confusion of whether or not she's actually related to the father, or this is just, did they get it all mixed up on a very merry mix-up of the the DNA results? I would have loved to have seen her not actually be related to him, but then they keep her as family and bring her in and still treat her that way. But it was fine in the end. I mean, everybody got together and she's got a family now. So I really like this one. What do you guys think?
Me too.
Yeah.
I think I put it on one of my lists that I sent to you, Joe. I love Amy Teagarden. Andrew Walker can do no wrong in my book, and this is a fun one that I come back to over and over.
I just think the casting was off for me on this one, but it's not like awful.
Yeah. I don't remember this in great detail. I must have seen it because it's recent enough, but you're right. Andrew Walker can do no wrong. It's tea time, y'all. Amy Teagarden, again, can do no wrong. So full faith in this movie for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Really heartfelt. Yeah.
Andrew Walker can do wrong. You guys have seen Christmas Island, correct?
Hey.
Sorry, that's Chad's one of his favorite movies of all time. He's watching, and I have to give it to him. So, all right, my family Christmas tree. Joe, what have I told you about not drinking whiskey before the show? You never learn. Yep. Yeah, I know, but I'm through it out. The next three that I choose are all three that I've never brought before on the broadcast. But I wanted to bring these two because I think they're worthy of discussions, and I wanted to see if I was way off or was right on. And it seems like I'm getting more right ons than off. So, but Josh, your second choice is next, and that is A Heidelberg Holiday.
Now, I love a travel movie, right? And I think Hallmark sometimes does these well and sometimes doesn't do these well. And I thought this was a very good one that they did. It actually felt like they took you someplace special at a special time of year. And I really like Jenna Claire Mason. You know, she was in A Carol for Two, and she also did the Rockette one a couple years ago. And I think that she does a really, really nice job of coming across as this girl next door, right? And so this is one of those where she's an ornament maker, and she finally has this opportunity to take her ornaments overseas to the Heidelberg Christmas market. The big oopsie doodle is that she ships them with some really low budget, not FedEx kind of thing, and they all break. And so it's sort of the big crisis of the moment. But of course, she falls in love while she's there. And I just thought the romance was believable here. I thought that it was just a fun, really heartfelt travel one, and that's why I nominated it.
And Danke for doing so, because I think I agree with you on this one. This one, I remember watching this and being in my notes. I had to look back. I was like, I wanted more Christmas markets. Like, those markets are incredible. Like, just stroll through the market and that's it, and we could have been fine. And it was and I also remember the conflict in this one was not he did something wrong or she did something wrong and they're mad at each other. It was something external. And I kind of like that for this for this story. So yeah, I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what's nice about this one is that she's not just visiting; she's there for a while.
Yeah.
So she gets to really know the family and the area and the guy, and so I think it adds a layer that most of the travel movies don't have.
Exactly.
So this is a good one. We're all picking really good ones, and no one's really having arguments about it. So this is an interesting discussion. But this one, travel-wise, the travel movies often suck because here's the thing with the travel movies: they go there for 2 days, they shoot some great locations, and then everything else is inside a building that doesn't look like it's actually in that city. This one, I don't know for sure, but I would say I would put money on it that they shot this entire movie in the same location because it feels that way. And that is why, and it's not green screen. Like, if you remember, and I don't remember which one it was, but there was one where it was in Italy and they green screened the hell out of that thing where it just obviously looked fake. This one was in the same place, for the whole movie. It felt legit. The couples were great. The Christmas market was amazing. She didn't work her Christmas market. She seemed to do everything else but sell her products. That's the only problem that I had with the movie was that because even when she did get her products, she was like, oh, I'm going to go and do something else. Somebody else can take over my shop today. You know, I get this great opportunity, but I'm not going to take it. But anyways, you know, we have to have the love story. So, you know, good choice though. So, okay. All right. So, Rachel, your second pick. Take Me Back for Christmas.
Yes. This one was like a big surprise to me. It came out in Christmas in July, and I just really responded to it. The whole idea of somebody getting the chance to say goodbye and getting a chance to talk to their mother that had passed away kind of suddenly, and like she feels like she's sort of stuck in her life. Like she has a good marriage, like she's happy in a lot of ways, but she's just kind of stuck because of this grief. And her getting a chance to go back and talk with her mom, I thought that actress nailed that. And I thought the mother was also really good. And how you would feel if you got a chance to talk to your loved one who'd passed away. And I just thought it was so emotionally true. It was very well done. The romantic aspect and her having to kind of decide, like, does she want to go back to her husband or stay here with her mom? It was like an interesting kind of, you know, thing for her to deal with. And I really loved it. And it makes me like cry, like like public waterworks when I watch it. So
this is a great choice. Yeah.
Polarizing one.
Mm-hmm. we had this one on a previous episode, and I think it was the one with Dan when he was on, Brian, and Dan just took a big crap right over it.
That's weird. That doesn't sound like Dan.
I know it didn't sound like it would normally would. Vanessa Lenges has never made a movie that I liked until this one, and she was fantastic in this movie. She was absolutely fantastic, and so I was kind of like, maybe I was a little too harsh. I look back, I'm like, no, I wasn't. But this movie was. This is the movie that sold me. Okay, she's a good actress. This was a really good movie. She's just been really stuck in some really clunkers before. So
I agree. It's one of the few Hallmark movies that's ever made me tear up. Her performance was incredible. I think I've only watched it the one time, like when it first aired, but I'm gonna need to go back and watch it again because it was a solid one. And Corey Sevier for me, who I may or may not be mentioning later, is also a winner. So yeah, it's a very, very good pick.
And he directed it, and his wife wrote it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Oh, amazing!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this pick as well, Rachel. And I think what you said, it was just so. It just felt so authentic. That scene with her and her mom was just really nuanced and so well done. And, you know, I think if you've had that experience where you've lost a mom, and I have, I think it really played it the right way. It wasn't too much, but it wasn't not enough. You know, my cry count on this, on our podcast, we do this thing with my cry count where it's like, how many times did I cry during this one? Because I am a crier. This one was like the whole back third, I cried the entire time. And I think it's just that it pulls at the heartstrings in a really good way. So it's a great pick.
Yep. And
well, and I think
Jennifer
who can
agrees.
relate to that feeling of being like stuck, you know, like you just.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And Jennifer agrees, the tears I cried in this one. So, yes, I agree, Rachel. Such a special movie. The way I cry when I watch this and when she sees her mom again. Yeah, I mean, it was really well done, and she killed it. And Corey was great in this, and his wife wrote a really good movie. And you know, I love time travel movies too. If you know, I guess it's a time travel movie. It's hard. It's kind of in that wheelhouse, I guess. So, all right. So, third round now, Kristen. Jingle Bell Run.
Yeah, so this one, I would say the only thing that I didn't really like about it is I feel like it could have used a touch more Christmas. But besides that, I mean, again, Andrew Walker can do no wrong for me. Ashley Williams can do no wrong for me. As a big fan of The Amazing Race for years, it obviously had Amazing Race vibes, although I would say the challenges were a bit more tame than that show. But I really liked how it was a like alone, like, oh, you're gonna be alone at Christmas movie, but they for once like didn't make it something like depressing and negative, because I feel like a lot of times in Hallmark movies that it becomes like the centerpiece of like, oh my god, I can't believe that I'm gonna be alone or that you're gonna be alone or whatever. And so I like that they kind of made a positive spin on it. And yeah, it's fast paced. I like how they're traveling around the country. It was a home run for me.
Yeah, I had this in my top 10. I'm surprised because thinking back, my initial thought was, should this be in the top 100, really? And then looking back at my notes on it, like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it did feature Andrew as the slapshot king of Chicago. So I mean, who are we to judge? Like,
yeah, that's an automatic.
A little bit. Yeah, it's out of our hands. So, and Ashley and Andrew together, forget about, I mean, ridiculously great. So yeah, I guess I cannot argue against this. While my initial thought was like, really? But yeah, I guess this belongs there.
This one's just okay for me. I think it's fine. I liked it well enough, but the third act conflict wasn't my favorite. You know, and she realized, oh, how could you lie to me and all of that. But other than that, it was cute enough.
It's fine. Yeah, I think for me, the what stood out in this is that Andrew Walker and why am I blanking on her name? Ashley Williams. Ashley Williams should have been put together a long time ago, and because they work really well with each other. I think the story on this one was a little, you know, I hate it when Hallmark tries to go big and say, oh, we're going to do this amazing race, and then you hit what was it? Fruitcakes into a goal, and that's your amazing race challenge. I don't. It just it.
You try it, Joe. You try it, and then you come back.
Yeah, maybe. All right. I will try it, and then if I don't do well, I'll concede that I was wrong, Brian.
We're gonna have a fun Christmas party this year at our company, Joe.
I was never a fan of The Amazing Race, so that's probably why I didn't like it. Yeah, I mean, I've never watched The Amazing Race either, but I know that the challenges are a little bit bigger than what this movie presented. So,
just a little
bit, yeah. So, okay, Brian, your third choice.
That's right.
Holiday date.
That's right. Holiday date 2019. This is a fake relationship, which is usually really fun. But the fake boyfriend is Jewish, so obviously knows nothing about Christmas. No songs, none of the traditions, nothing about it. So those layers of hijinks for me just really worked in this movie. And I love Matt Cohen. I really love Britt Bristow, and them together were so fun in this. And Terrell Rothery, Peter Benson, like the cast is just a blast. Trademark that, somebody. That's a good quote. So yeah, really fun for me. When I was doing the research on going back on my list of movies, thinking of movies for this list, I got caught up. Like I had to shut this off because I'm like, I can't sit here and watch Holiday Date all the time. Like I need to do other stuff too. So it was like, obviously this has to be on the list. If I can't, tear myself away from this to do my parenting duties, go to work, all the stuff you're supposed to do, I guess this has to be on the list because it was a distraction.
I don't think I've ever seen this. I've looked at this poster and I maybe when I start, I was going to go back and try to watch before this, but I didn't get a chance to. And maybe it'll be one of those movies I start watching. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw this one, but I have no recollection of it. So, but 2019, I can understand if I didn't see it. There's a lot of bad movies in 2019. It was a bad year, and I may have turned off things before because I didn't have a channel to rank things at that time. So if I didn't like it, I just turned it off. So,
Yeah, I'm the same. That was before I kept track of my rankings. I know I watched it. I do love Britt Bristow as well, so I'm sure that I feel like I enjoyed it. I don't remember it really enough to have a lot of standout moments, but I don't know that I've ever seen one with her that I disliked. So I need to watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's kind of forgettable, but there's some fun shenanigans. I can see that. I always get a little bit nervous with the Hanukkah movies when they have a bunch of scenes where you're meant to teach the audience about Hanukkah. Those can be so cringe. But yeah, it was fun enough.
Okay.
I have not seen this one, so I'm adding it to my list. But thank you for the recommendation. Yeah.
And then if we don't like it with Brian, we should just email you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dan at deckthehallmark.com.
Okay. We'll do. All right. So my third choice, and everyone's going to go, oh, we know what you like, Joe. So you're right. Once Upon a Christmas Miracle, starring Amy Teagarden. And this Brett Dalton, I think, is his name. So she's told she only has a few months to live. She needs a new liver. He gives her part of his liver, and they become a couple at the end and have a nice relationship. I think Amy's really good in this one. I know it's a little sad of a movie in the beginning, more in the beginning and middle, but it ends in a happy note. And I really enjoy this one.
This is a true story, right? Wasn't this based on a real story?
So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that standing out and being like, oh, this is kind of a big deal. Let's check this out. So, yeah, I think I remember being down with this.
I like this movie, but I think sometimes I want it to be something that it just isn't going to be, because they make this guy, he is just perfect. He never has a moment of hesitation or fear of giving his organ to a stranger. I kind of want it to be just a little bit more human than this perfect man, but it's Hallmark, so it's perfectly cute.
Yeah, I mean, although I love Amy Teagarden still, I tend to enjoy the ones that are a little bit more upbeat, and it was a little sad on my meter ranking, but yeah, I mean, Amy Teagarden is still a gem, and it was kind of in the middle for me.
Same.
Josh, you ever seen this one?
I have not, no.
Okay.
But I can see, the poster, of course. Hallmark mysteries, so those tend to be the more emotional, sad ones. So have to be in an emotional place.
What's interesting with this one is, I often will not. They really made her look sick in this movie. I remember watching that because she's sick. She needs a liver transplant. They actually did a pretty good job of making her look like she's sick. The poster is not as a big lie because most of the movie she does not look like this. No. But I do remember feeling for her and just wanting to give her a hug, I guess, because she really needed it. So
or a liver,
yeah. I mean, if you match, I guess that's what you should do. So, all right, Josh. Your third pick, Hanukkah on Rye.
Hanukkah on Rye from 2022. Has anyone seen You've Got Mail? Because that's basically this movie at Hanukkah, but I bought it 1000%. And the reason I bought it is I thought the romance was totally believable, and I like the tradition that was tied with it building throughout. But the star throughout this entire movie is the B cast. Sometimes the B cast that surrounds our leads can just kind of be throwaway actors and interchangeable and not really memorable, but there are so many good casting choices in this with these families that surround both of the leads, and I just thought it was fun. It felt authentic, it felt traditional, it felt joyous at the end of the day, and I just think it's one of those where, again, it did not get a whole lot of promotion, did not get a whole lot of attention. And I think that's a shame because I think this movie is really worth the time and worth watching.
You're talking about Lisa Loeb as the secondary cast, right? I mean, she's amazing in this movie.
I remember the food looked awesome in this.
Yes.
I walked away
Right?
thinking, holy cow, they did a great job showcasing all
Yeah.
this food. Yeah.
Take me to New York to a good Jewish delicatessen
Oh,
any
man.
time of the day. It just looks so great. Yeah.
And Jeremy Jordan. I love Jeremy Jordan so much.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll get him to sing in one of these movies one of these days. But yeah, this is a great pick.
Yeah,
Really
agreed.
entertaining.
Agreed. I stand by it. I think some of their Hanukkah movies are absolute unexpected, really good ones that don't get the attention that they deserve and probably do get overlooked by some of the general Hallmark audience. But yeah, it's a great pick. I agree.
So, okay, I'm going to sound dumb because I didn't remember his name. So this is Jeremy Jordan, the Broadway star, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a 16-year-old daughter who's obsessed with this guy. So
He's the best.
I only know that because she always tells me how great and amazing he is. So maybe I don't think she was probably into him when this movie came out, but I'm gonna have to say, hey, you're gonna get to watch a Hallmark movie with me now, and I'm gonna have to run this by her because I've seen this and he was great in it. I just didn't know who he was, but now I do. So believe me. 16-year-old daughter remembers every the guys that they like. You sure do learn about that. So, right, yeah. Okay, well, I learned something today. So, all right, Rachel, your third pick, Fir Crazy.
Yes. So this one I think is one of the great Hallmark movies because I think the character motivation is so well done. You often have these leads who hate Christmas, and you're like, why would you possibly hate Christmas? And here they have like a real understandable motivation. She doesn't like Christmas because she had to deal with her parents running a Christmas tree farm and it completely monopolizing her parents for most of the year. And so it makes sense that she has a little bit of a grudge. And then to see her have to run the Christmas tree lot, and see her change and grow and evolve as a person is like heartwarming and sweet. And they also do the skating date really well, which can be terrible in these movies. And the big grumpy executive who doesn't like the Christmas tree lot is like fun and classic and gives you all the feels. And I just think it's a really good Hallmark Christmas movie.
Agreed. This one just oozes Christmas. Some of these just feel like a movie that could be in any other season, but this one just like takes you to Christmas, and I love it for that reason.
And like learning to love Christmas, she's really forgiving her parents. So there's like a layer there that I think makes it great.
Yeah.
And feels authentic to some people's experience. So
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, no, this is an older one, but it's one that I always remembered watching and liking. Sarah Lancaster is really great in this one. I like it when she gets fired in the beginning of the movie, and then she's forced to work this job because she needs money, so she's just really good in that part of it. I think eventually they start liking each other a little bit too quickly because I think that's my only problem with it is that he's really kind of an asshole in the beginning, and she's really just trying to get to work together. Or am I wrong? Was he the store owner?
You mean the love interest?
Yeah.
No, the love interest is more secondary. He just ends up buying a tree, and they have some like flirting stuff. No, Colin Macri is the store owner.
Okay, that's who I was thinking about. Yeah,
he's kind of bitter about his wife had passed away, and he's like in his grief, and he's sort of taking that out on the sweet little Christmas tree lot.
That's right.
Yeah,
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen this one, but I do remember liking it. I actually think this would be in my top 100. So cool. All right. So next, gonna go to Kristen. We're gonna go to your fourth pick. Your fourth pick is Next Stop Christmas.
Yeah, for me it's 2 words, Lindsay Fonseca. I have never seen any of her movies that I haven't loved. Again, I just think she's so like witty, and she's just such a unique Hallmark female lead to me. She brings kind of like a modern element is the best way I know how to describe it. It's just refreshing every time she's on screen. I'm also a sucker for time travel movies, and just the whole theoretical concept of like, if we could go back and change our past or rewrite the future, would we? How do we go about that? It's a movie that makes me like reflect a lot on myself, and I'm like roughly the same age as her. And so in the movie, like when it jumps from like 2021 to 2011, she was kind of like at the same point in life that I was at that time in the movie. And so it really like was just one that every time I watch it, it just makes me like reflect. And of course with Christopher Lloyd in there as the train conductor, I mean, it was so Christmassy. It was lovely. I go back to it time and time again.
It's a great choice. I like it. I mean, it's got the Back to the Future with Leah Thompson as well. So, right there, they're just, they're trying to get, the Back to the Future fans to watch this one. I really do like it. I'm going to have, honestly, Chandler Massey, he's done he's done 2 or 3 time travel movies at this point. He's really good in all of them. I was a big Days of Our Lives fan, so to watch Chandler Massey in any of these movies and after seeing his character in Days of Our Lives is hard for me. But I really like this movie. I think this is a good choice. So
yeah, the Back to the Future of it all is fun. I remember that being a huge like lead up, being really excited for that. And I don't think I was super blown away with the end product. Like afterwards, I wasn't like, they nailed it, they did it, like that was worth it every second. But I'm glad they did it. I hope we get more stuff like that where they're doing fun things. And Lindsay Forsythe, yeah, she is really, really fun, and she does a great job. So I'm not gonna argue against this pick because it feels like they were trying something here, and I feel like A for effort.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Pepper Tree Villa says, Kristen, great choice. This one had Doug immediately because of trains. I'm not big on the time travel movies, but it's got a train and Christopher Lloyd. So, yes. So that is definitely... and Lori, I really like this one. So, yeah, I think it's a good choice. Let's see if Chandler Massey gets in any more time travel movies because he's been in a lot. So it seems to be his wheelhouse. So I guess with Hallmark. All right, Brian, your fourth choice, Confessions of a Christmas Letter.
That's right. And this is another recent one, 2024. This one I was looking forward to it, but also very nervous about it before it aired because it could easily be gimmicky because we have 2 people from The Office coming together, Angela Kinsey, Brian Bongomer, and it's like I hope that's not it. Like I hope there's more here, and there was. Alex Santos like crushed it in this movie. It was like very funny, and I remember looking back at my notes on this, and I had written down the line about the grandmother coming into the room with the cinnamon buns on fire, and I laughed just reading my notes on that scene. And so the humor stood out, and it wasn't just a gimmicky movie, and it was a really good one, I thought. And I thought they did a really great job. So I think this is a pretty good contender for a top 100.
Yeah,
I mean the premise is a little bit silly. Just like, okay, are we really doing this much for a letter? And it was kind of in the middle for me in my rankings. But I mean, I love The Office, and it did have a lot of really funny moments.
I'm with Kristen. It was middle of the pack for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it when Hallmark really leans into the humor and gives us some screwball energy, and this did. So yeah, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's better than it should have been. I think that's definitely, like, I was coming in ready to hate this then. I hate gimmicky stuff, and kind of like the last movie, Next Stop Christmas. I was like, they're just throwing Christopher Lloyd and Leah Thompson in so that we go, oh, it's Back to the Future. I'm going to like this. Same way with this one. They're throwing two people from The Office. But it turned out to be funny. And I think that's what saved this one from being a complete disaster. I'm not sure I would add it to my top 100, but it's probably if it's probably close to maybe the early hundreds, maybe 110 or something. But I'm not sure if I would add it. But I don't. I'm not going to say it's awful. So.
I think you just did.
I do. No. If the fact that there's like well over 500 movies and something's ranks 105, that's pretty good. So yeah. So Lori, I ended up liking this one more than I thought I would. Me too, Lori. It was funny. So I think consensus is about the same. But you can now rag on my fourth choice because I know everyone is going to. But I have a thing for this movie that I really love, and I don't know really why. I'm not selling it well, but it's a royal movie, and we don't have a lot of royal movie. We haven't talked about a lot of royal movies. Everyone just put their head down. So I really like A Royal Queen's Christmas. With Megan Park and I don't know this guy's name. I forget. What is his name?
Michael Bublé?
Brett
Julian
Dalton.
Morris.
No, yeah, Julian Morris. Yeah, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong one. Yeah, so Megan Park. I like Megan Park. I think she's fun. I really like this one. I know the accents are bad, but I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the very simple Queens locations. They weren't these giant houses. They were nice little apartments. They were, you know what I mean? It just didn't. It felt, I guess, more normal. What normal life is like. It was a fun royal movie. I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to throw out a royal movie, and I thought this one was fun.
Yeah, I like this one. I think it's charming. Yeah.
I think if I'm gonna have to watch a royal movie, which is normally not, something that I enjoy, it was better. Maybe it was because it was in New York and not some faraway fantasy land that doesn't even exist. I don't know. I don't know that I would agree with it in the top 100, but like I said, I mean, it would definitely be in like the top probably 10 of royal movies, but that's not a good competition for me.
Yeah, I wanted to find what a royal movie. I thought it'd be fun, but yeah, boo to all royal movies, as Mark said. So I get it. I mean, I knew it was not going to be a huge choice, but Megan Park's a gem. I think she should be in more of these as well. All right, Josh, your fourth choice, Holiday Road.
So from 2023. 9 strangers in a van having a very sort of Plan B kind of Christmas. Sometimes these ensemble casts movies are just not great, but I think this one actually works because of the casting, and especially Trevor Lerner, who we've seen a couple of times in these Hallmark movies. He's the guy all the way on the left here, the older gentleman. He was also in the Santa Class as Santa, so there you go. He's a standout, and he always is, in my honest opinion. But I just think that this movie could have been wacky and could have gone off the rails, but it's got a lot of great, different, varied, realistic plots that I think all work together. And I think it really wraps up in a really satisfying way. If you can get past the first 5 to 7 minutes of this movie, I think it's a really good watch. And I fear that a lot of people watched the first 5 to 7 minutes and clicked out of it and never came back to it, because the start of this is kind of a little slow for me. It focuses on a social media influencer, and I think that could be the way they did it a little off-putting to people. So with a different first 5 minutes, I think this movie would have been absolutely an A+. But as it goes for me, it's a solid A still, and I think worthy of consideration.
Yeah, I like this one. I had it as an underrated one when we did an underrated Hallmark Christmas episode a bit ago. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and it's probably as close as we're getting to like Hallmark covering the pandemic, even because it's based on a true story, which is fun.
Yeah,
That is fun.
Yeah.
I remember watching this and being glad that I watched it and glad that they did it, but not knowing I didn't want to watch it again. And I remember specifically it just went on like a scotch too long. There was a scene at a gravestone. I'm like, that should have been, that's the ending. And then it just kept kind of going. I was like, ugh. So I don't know. I'm not as sold on this one. Maybe I'd have it at like 107 behind Christmas.
behind
Royal Creed's Christmas.
No,
So
I thought it was a great one. I totally forgot about it when I was making my list, but I found myself invested in all the characters. It was in my top 10 for that year when it first aired, and yeah, just again a unique, fun concept, and great pick.
Yeah. I said in the beginning, there's another compilation movie like Christmas a Golden Dragon, and this is the one I was referring to. This is the other one I think they do a real good job in. All the other ones are bad because it's just too many storylines, too many characters. I think this one was really good. I think the social media influencer, I can't stand that was something that they like to promote. I got the understanding of why they needed it for the storylines, but I don't want to watch a movie about them. So,
yeah.
But I think it was a really solid choice. I agree with it. So let's see if anybody else says anything. Let's see. Holiday Road. This one surprised me. Is a lot better than I expected it to be. So I think people agree. And all right. So then where am I at? All right, Rachel, your last one. For the ones before we do guilty pleasure, Deliver by Christmas.
Yeah, this one, it does have some of that shop around the corner, you've got mail sort of energy to it. Like these two people, they're falling for each other in communicating, but they don't know that they're in real life. They don't know that they're falling for each other, and that's just such a romantic, charming concept. The idea of falling in love with somebody over their words is just inherently really romantic and appealing. And that's why that storyline, the perfumery story for the play, it just works in almost any variation. And this cast, these two are so likable. And I have to admit, like, the movie meant more to me when I saw it in 2020, because it captured like the experience of this social distancing, and even the final scene when they're like literally they're about 6 feet apart, social distancing, like, and so I think it meant more to me in 2020 than it when I rewatched it. I was like, oh, I still like it, but I didn't like love it as much as in 2020. But it really, really meant a lot to me that year, especially, and I love both the leads, and it's really charming.
Yeah. This one came up a few weeks ago, or a few episodes ago, when we did the one of the rounds of Hallmark. I think maybe the first one we did, and I had forgotten about it. Like and I need to rewatch it again because I remember that I liked it, but I don't remember if I loving it as much. But the more I think, the more that people talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I think maybe this is one of those movies that I just watched and was like, oh, great, that was nice. But now I need to rewatch it again because people often bring it up to me. So definitely a rewatch for me.
Yeah, it was my second favorite movie of 2020 behind The Christmas House. I really liked the male lead. I'm not sure what his name is, but I found him to be a little bit just a unique male lead for Hallmark, a little bit like rougher around the edges than they normally go, and I appreciated that. But it really hit the spot for me that year, and if it wasn't for Jonathan Bennett, it would have been number one.
He had the pandemic scruff. I mean,
yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Solid movie, but not one I'd actively seek out to watch. But I think everyone's agreed that we have to rewatch it. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian. What were you going to say?
Yeah, just concurring with everybody's sentiment here. I remember really liking this, especially them. They weren't even together, and you just wanted them to get together, and then they finally did, and it was like really well done. So good movie, good choice.
Cool. All right, we're gonna go through the next 5, and then we'll be done. These are our guilty pleasures. These are movies that we all considered bad, but we know we love to watch them again. So, Kristen, your first choice. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am completely disagreeing that this is a guilty pleasure because I think this is one of my favorite Hallmark movies of all time. So, Noel Next Door.
Wow. Okay. I honestly thought that people were going to be like, what? Like, because the thing about this movie is that, like, really not a lot happens in the grand scheme of the movie, which is why I consider it kind of a guilty pleasure, because as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, it's, okay, there's some conflict. The son is kind of a pain in the neck, like Scrooge character, but it's not like there's like a ton on the line besides like the stereotypical are they or are they not going to end up together. But Natalie Hall and Corey Sevier, I mean, I am a huge fan of both of them. I love her earnestness. I feel like she captures like the single mom storyline in an honest way, but not like an obnoxious way where it's like just trying to be like, create sympathy the whole time. It's like we actually are invested in both of them, but not in like that kind of annoying way of like, let's just feel bad for everyone that I feel like old Hallmark maybe used to do a little bit more. But it's just, there's tons of Christmas. I love their dynamic. I would like to know how a waitress is living in such like a super nice like apartment townhouse situation. I don't know where they're supposed to be, but apparently it's really cheap there. But yeah, it's just, and I think it aired like either the first movie that season. Okay. And so I think it was just like, I went into it being like, oh, it's the first movie, probably not going to be that great. And it just blew me away. And I've watched it so many times.
This is one of the Hallmark Christmas movies where I totally am on the side of the Scrooge. Like, he deserves to have a neighborhood where his safety isn't put into question, like where he doesn't have to trip over wires and where he's not getting, balls thrown at his house, and like he is in the right here. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that's unique.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think to get this probably would have a tough time in the top 100. So if we have to guilty pleasure this bad boy to get Natalie Hall and Corey Sevier on the list, then this is what we got to do. So I'm all for it.
What makes this movie work is the dialogue in this movie. This movie was a breath of fresh air. At Christmas Con this past year, Corey was there, and I went up to get him his autograph and take a picture with him and stuff. And I said to him, I said, I really love Noel Next Door. I just wanted to let you know. And he's like, he was appreciative. He was like, great. He's like, I do too. He says it's one of my favorite ones I've done. And the chemistry between these two is amazing. And I was. My wife watched this one with me, and she never watches any of them. And she's like, I really like this movie. One, they just did, the dialogue was just different. Like there was a whole sequence of like, she's at the grocery store and she's buying, tampons or whatever. And they had a tampon joke in a Hallmark movie. I mean, that's not something you normally see. So, I think it's a great choice. I don't think it's a guilty pleasure. I think it's one of the best movies that they've ever made. So, okay. Brian.
Yeah. I'm on the record as a Cozy Christmas Inn stan. I will die on this hill. I have a sweet tooth. I'm a Jodie Sweetin fan. There's nothing I can do about that. Like, I won't apologize. I love the movie State and Maine, and this gives me State and Maine vibes because they're in a diner a lot. They're kind of like around the small town characters are done really, really well. Like, I remember specifically there's I think he's a policeman or a taxi driver. There's one character named Martin who's like all over the place, and he's just every time he's on screen, he's a good time. And with the diner owner, every time she's on screen, she's a good time. So the characters in this world were really fun for me. And this was also this ties into my larger point about sequels, I guess. This was a sequel to Christmas Under Wraps with CCB, and CCB left, and so they're sort of like, well, what do we do? You call in CCB's little sister to clean up the mess. And I feel like they did just a great job with this. Like they picked it up. They went this whole different direction. I felt like they didn't, and they did it well. I don't know. I had a really good time with this, and maybe my expectations were just so low. And maybe I just got such a hard time from everybody that I dug in my heels. But Cozy Christmas Inn, I feel like, is a pretty solid guilty pleasure.
This
Agreed.
Awful.
Top. I agree with Brian. It was in my top 10 for 2022. I'm right there with you.
I love Jodie Sweetin, but this was an awful movie. It was not needed. It was there was something about it. It lost all of its magic because this is the what is it? That's what is it? What's the town called?
Garland.
Yeah,
Garland for you.
That's Garland for you. Garland looks completely different in this movie than in the first one.
Well, that's Garland for you.
Yeah, I guess so. And
I think it was shot in the same place, though. They were both shot in Utah.
Yeah, it just looked different, though. I don't know why, but my running joke on this one is in a few more years, the Olsen twins are going to take over and do the third movie. I mean, that if Hallmark did that, that would be the greatest thing ever. This guy got to date every single Full House sister in each one of these movies. So, yeah. Anybody else? I'm not sure if there's anybody else that you've thought of this one.
You all are being nice. My pick is so much worse.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we just for timing purpose, I'm going to quickly move to my third choice, or my guilty pleasure choice. So, Rachel, you said something earlier that Hallmark doesn't do bad movies that are a guilty pleasure. I am going to remind you of my choice right now, and that is Claus is Coming to Town. Starring Maria Thayer, and I don't even know who this guy's name. Samuel Page. She is Santa's daughter. She comes to California to, I don't remember why, but she does. She hooks up with Vivier Fox in a hotel room with her daughter. She gets a job at a toy store and convinces the guy to not sell those big popular toy video games, but to sell, traditional classic, blocks and teddy bears and stuff. And that's what's really going to make your store shine. And somehow it does, but I don't know if I agree with that. But this is a guilty pleasure of mine. It is an awful movie. It is, though, a magical Christmas movie, and I really love those.
I haven't seen this one in a long time. I don't remember hating it, but yeah, I'd have to rewatch it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Go back and rewatch it. I got to go back and watch it.
It's an older one. I think this is like 2000
early Hallmark. Yeah,
6, 7, maybe. So
2011.
2011. Okay, well, yeah. I was all way off on that.
Yeah, I've not seen this one, but I've heard of it, so I need to go back to the OG Hallmark.
Yeah, this is very old school Hallmark. Yeah, it's definite. So, Brian, you never saw this one?
No, it sounds like a fun time though. And I think it looks like Nina Weinman wrote it, so she that's a cool reason to go back and definitely watch it just to keep up with how she's progressed.
Yeah. I think it might be her first Christmas movie. It's one of the early ones.
Yeah. So Pepper Tree Villa,
they love familiar names there.
Yeah, they enjoy Claus. So, and Mark vaguely remembers it. So, all right. So, in the beginning of the episode, I said somebody chose Happy Holidays. Josh, why don't you just raise your hand and try to explain why this movie is a guilty pleasure.
Well, if it please the court. Webster defines a guilty pleasure as something, such as a movie. I came prepared for this conversation.
Okay, obviously.
Something such as a movie, television program, or piece of music that one enjoys despite feeling that it is not generally held in high regard. Can we all agree that this is not generally held in high regard? Yes, I think we can. So I love this one because it is so, for me, so terrible, right? It's sort of like a dumpster fire that you can't not watch unfold. And it is one of those where, honestly, the dog romance for me is so much more believable in this movie than the people romance. And I really enjoy watching these dogs fall in love because I'm a big animal lover, honestly. And, you know, I get what they were trying to do here. They needed a vehicle for the winner of this whole Finding Mr. Christmas thing, but it was just painful at points, not great, but so unserious. And I think at least one time a season, I need to watch a Hallmark movie that is so unserious that I just roll my eyes for a constant 2 hours and laugh my way through it. And that, for me, is this one, which is why I picked it as my guilty pleasure, because it is gut-inducing laughter material for me for at least a solid 2 hours. And I need that at the holidays.
The comments are great in this one.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
What? I cannot even. Oh, Josh, buddy.
I know. Listen,
Josh,
I
really?
knew this was not going to be a popular choice. I did it primarily because I enjoy it because it's so not great. But
not in high regard. It's not even in low regard. I just want to play with the dogs.
Exactly.
I agree with Pepper Tree Villa. The issue is that they never should have picked Ezra to begin with, and I was infuriated on Finding Mr. Christmas. I thought he was the worst choice. I love Jessica Lowndes, but even she could not save this movie.
No, it was very clear. It was a mismatch from go, and I think you're absolutely right. So, yeah, cringy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the last guilty pleasure is Rachel's. The most colorful time of the year.
Now, like I said, there are not that many so bad it's good movies in the world of Hallmark. Most of them that are bad are just boring. This one is, in my opinion, way better than all the ones that you have picked because it is absolutely, completely ridiculous. He puts on the magic glasses and he basically becomes like Superman. And his whole life has changed, and he can see the world and all that's going around. And the depiction of colorblindness is completely insane and ridiculous. And it's just, I think, by far the most so bad it's good Hallmark movie. That most bad Hallmark movies are just boring. This one you watch and you just can't believe that anybody greenlit this as a filmable concept and movie.
Well said.
It's actually a good guilty pleasure movie. I have to say, I do. There was part of me that liked some of this movie, and I know I shouldn't have. This is also the year that every guy wore glasses that year. But when when Christopher Russell wears glasses, he's Clark Kent. I mean, it is Clark Kent, and so much so, and it might be on my Instagram still. I made a reel where there's a scene where he's putting the glasses on and he can see. But I reversed the footage and I put the Superman theme underneath, and it's like him taking the glasses off, and I put it out there, and he saw it. Christopher Russell saw it, and he goes, "This is amazing. Thank you for doing that." And so it got me some cred with Christopher Russell, I guess. But it's not a good movie, but there's something I like about it. So
the assignment was guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
that is.
In the world of guilty pleasures, Josh walked so Rachel could run here.
Well, I agonized over my decision. It was either going to be that or it was going to be the Christmas charade, which is like that James Bond
charade, Josh. Come on.
Charade, exactly. Yes.
Class it up a little bit.
All right. So what we've got to do now is each person gets to choose one of these movies that we presented. When that movie comes up, if you want to save it and say, yes, it belongs in the Hallmark 100, you have to just say crown it, which basically means it's in there. So you get one choice, but you cannot choose your own movie. So, and we cannot go back. So if you see the movie come up, you have to say crown it or it goes away. So Golden Dragon, anybody want to crown it or is it a no? Nope. All right. Round and round. Oh.
Crown it.
Oh, all right. The Christmas Ornament. Oh, all right. Rachel, I was counting on you. Sugar plum. Sugar plums.
Crown it.
All right.
Yeah.
Trading Christmas. All right. 5-Year Christmas Party. All right. Carol for Two.
Crown it.
Okay. So who's gone so far? Josh, Rachel, and Brian. Okay, so Kristen, you and I are the only two left. So Christmas Family Tree. No. Heidelberg Holiday. Take Me Back to Christmas. Jingle Bell Run. Holiday Date. Stick there. Christmas Miracle. Hanukkah on Rye. All right. Well, Rachel, which one do you want to crown? Instead of going through all these ones.
Oh, no, I already went.
I want to do Deliver by Christmas.
Oh, Deliver for Christmas. Okay. And I am going to crown Noel Next Door because I think that deserves it. So our 5 movies that I have to add to the list. We have 15 movies now. Round and Round, Sugar Plumed, A Carol for Two, and Deliver by Christmas, and Noel Next Door are now all going to be on the Hallmark 100. So we'll get to consider those. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I mean, this is a long time. I'm sorry to keep you so long. Brian, where can people find you?
Well, I used to be on Deck the Hallmark podcast. We'll see. Fingers crossed, everybody. I'll set up a donation for myself. Yeah, Deck the Hallmark podcast. I review all the new Hallmark movies with Brandon and Dan, and ramping up for Christmas season coming up pretty soon. So listen along.
That's right. Kristen?
Yeah, you can find me at Holidays After Dark on pretty much any major podcasting platform, Spotify, Apple, all the above. I'm also on social media, on X, Blue Sky, Instagram as @Holidays Podcast. And I actually have an interview coming out with the one and only Joe on Tuesday. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, yep. You can hear me on her podcast. She did an interview with me the other week, and you can hear my weirdness of growing up. So, so Josh.
Sure. So we're online at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com and also on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Do you watch what I watch?
Okay. And Rachel?
Yeah, you can follow us at Hallmark's Podcast. Me and my friends, we cover basically everything Hallmark rom-com, holiday related. A lot of fun, so check that out. And Rachel's reviews for everything else that I cover.
Okay. So for me, I just need to promote a couple of things. Tomorrow night, I am going to be a family member on PTV Pepper Tree Villa Live. We are going to be making a drink. We are going to show off our Hallmark ornaments. We are going to, I think, a Trader Joe's review. We are going to watch a Hallmark movie of one of the worst ones from last year, the one of the Unwrapped, and then I'm going to make a craft of sherry. So it's a lot of fun tomorrow night, 8:00. Pepper Tree Villa. Definitely check it out. They even added, I was even added to the group of pictures there. So, also coming out, very, very, actually what is out right now, the Trope Count with 3 wise men and a baby. And I had a very special guest, Brand from Deck the Hallmark, did the synopsis for me. So definitely go check that out. He did a great job. I was very happy that he can do that. And I'm working on coming out before the end of the month, my series of Year and Christmas. I've been counting down the 80s. I am going to be on 1981. So I only have 2 more years yet to cover the 80s till I start moving to the 90s later in the year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. This was great. It seems like I had a comment here. I cannot believe Noel Next Door is on the Hallmark 100 over the other movies that were on that list. There's still a chance those other movies can make the list, but I had to add Noel Next Door. It's a movie that I think is great. So, well, we better end this because it's been a long time, and it's a Sunday night, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. So. But thanks everybody for joining me. Definitely check out my channel. Please check out their YouTube channels and podcast channels. And be sure to check out our 4th round, which will be coming sometime soon. And maybe we'll add the movies that you were looking for. So I'm the Christmas aficionado. Remember, stay off the naughty list.